What if everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle was a lie? Not a minor embellishment, not a harmless omission, but a full-scale reinvention of reality, one so meticulously planned, so carefully packaged, that even seasoned royal watchers didn't see it coming. Now picture this. A woman named Angela, standing in front of a camera, trembling with a mix of fury and satisfaction, and uttering the words no one dared to say out loud. "I will expose your dirty shit, bitch." Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Her words weren't whispered. They weren't leaked through a tabloid or hinted at in a blog post. They were fired like a missile, aimed straight at the heart of one of the most protected women on earth. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, who for years has danced between admiration and scrutiny, now faces an enemy from her own past. And she's not just angry, she's armed with evidence. The question is, what could make a woman like Angela speak out now? But hold up, let's not jump too far ahead, because this isn't just about one woman trying to ruin another. No, this is about layers of secrecy that have gone unchecked. It's about a string of adult encounters allegedly orchestrated for money and power, a pattern of manipulation that Angela claims began long before Prince Harry ever met Meghan. And she says she's got the proof to back it up. We live in a world where image is everything. And for Meghan, image has been her most valuable currency. But what happens when that image begins to crack? When people start coming forward, not for money, not for clout, but because they've had enough of the lies. Because they've watched from the sidelines as a fairy tale was sold to the world, while the truth was stuffed in a vault and locked away. Angela didn't just wake up one morning and decide to go public. This has been building. And what she's about to reveal, it's not just career-ending. It could burn bridges with royalty, tear apart what's left of Meghan's reputation, and possibly ignite legal action on an international scale. But let's slow it down for just a second. Let me ask you something. Do you remember the first time Meghan Markle entered the spotlight? It wasn't when she was shaking hands beside Queen Elizabeth. It wasn't the Oprah interview. It wasn't the royal wedding. No, it was long before all that. It was the smile on Deal or No Deal. The carefully arched brows, the effortless glamour, the confidence that could turn a room into a red carpet. She wasn't just a briefcase girl. She was a calculated presence, and according to Angela, she was already playing the game. The adult game. A game that, allegedly, involved multiple men, money, manipulation, and something darker than the world has dared to imagine. So here we are. Meghan Markle is crying behind closed doors, sources say. Furious. Frantic. Desperate to stop the floodgates from opening. But Angela? She's already turned the handle. She's speaking out, piece by piece, name by name, receipt by receipt. And she's doing it not to destroy Meghan, at least not entirely. According to Angela, this is about revealing the woman behind the title. The one who, she says, used people like stepping stones. The one who knew exactly what she was doing, and who she was doing it with. Angela's claims are explosive. They touch on events that took place in secret hotel suites, luxury rooftop parties, and private gatherings where cameras weren't allowed, but memories were made. And, in Angela's case, receipts were kept. But that's not the twist. The real twist? Angela wasn't just a bystander. She was there. She says she was right beside Meghan, watching as it all unfolded. She heard the laughter, saw the games, witnessed the alliances, and was eventually discarded like yesterday's gossip when she no longer served a purpose. So why now? Why is Angela choosing this moment to speak? According to her, it's because she's tired of being silent. Tired of watching Meghan play the victim while real victims remain voiceless. I kept your secrets, Angela says in a clip that's making rounds online. I protected you. But now, you don't get that luxury anymore. Think about that. What kind of secrets require protection? And what kind of damage could they do if unleashed? In this expose, we're not just talking about rumors. We're talking about alleged voice recordings, messages, photos, diary entries, even contracts that Angela claims tie Meghan to a past she'd give anything to erase. Contracts? Yes, you heard that right. Angela hints at NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, signed in private, enforced with cash, and now potentially violated in full view of the public. And the deeper you go, the murkier it gets. We'll walk through the luxury hotels where these secret encounters allegedly happened. We'll meet the men, some known, some still in the shadows. We'll hear the words Meghan may have spoken behind closed doors. Words that, if true, contradict every carefully constructed interview, every charitable campaign, every emotional soundbite. You think you've seen scandals? This is not a scandal. This is a landslide. And it's rolling straight through Montecito. Angela says this isn't about revenge. It's about truth. But what is the truth? Is it her truth? Meghan's truth? Or something stranger, sitting in the gray between reality and narrative? And here's the scariest part. If Angela is telling the truth, then the Meghan Markle the world has celebrated is a manufactured masterpiece. A woman built from parts, beauty, ambition, intellect, performance, but missing the one element that matters most, authenticity. And if she's lying? If Angela's doing this for attention, for some personal vendetta, or under pressure from hidden powers, then we're about to witness a brutal smear campaign unlike anything seen in royal history. Either way, someone's about to fall. And hard. So as we begin this story, ask yourself this. Do you want the truth? Or just a good story? Because after this hour is up, you may not be able to unsee what you've heard. You may find yourself questioning every smile, every speech, every tear that ever rolled down Meghan's cheek. And you may wonder, how far would someone go to become a princess? We'll start with Angela herself, the woman who's no longer hiding in the shadows. The woman who says she knew Meghan before the pearls, before the crown, before the charities and docuseries and camera-ready compassion. And she says, plainly, she used me. She used men. And she used the world. But what happens when the world stops clapping? Angela's ready to talk. And what she says next will leave Meghan speechless. What kind of person makes Meghan Markle cry? We're not talking about the press. Not the tabloids. Not anonymous Twitter accounts. Meghan's dealt with them all, fired back with lawsuits, PR campaigns, Oprah interviews. She's weathered media storms like a seasoned player. But Angela is different. She's not hiding behind a screen. She's not spinning rumors from a distance. She's stepping right into the spotlight, with fire in her eyes and a vault of secrets she claims Meghan prayed would never be opened. So who is she? Where did she come from? And why? Out of all the people in Meghan's past, does this woman have her shaking behind the walls of Montecito? Let's rewind. Angela isn't a household name. At least not yet. She wasn't famous. She didn't seek the limelight. She wasn't trying to hitch herself to Meghan's royal comet when things were good. In fact, for years, Angela was invisible. That's what Meghan liked about her. Angela says they met in Los Angeles. Not at a red carpet. Not at a celebrity gala. But at a casting event in West Hollywood. A low-budget audition that paid next to nothing. Angela remembers it all vividly. It was hot. The kind of heat that makes makeup melt off your face by noon. She recalled in an exclusive sit-down. We were both broke. Hungry. Not just for food, but for recognition. For escape. Angela wasn't just another pretty face. She was smart. Sharp. Streetwise. Meghan, she says, immediately clocked that. She walked in like she was already famous. Head up, back straight, smile rehearsed. But I saw past it. That wasn't confidence. That was armor. Angela claims they clicked fast. Instant chemistry. Two outsiders, both biracial, both navigating Hollywood with grit and hustle. The bond was real. Or at least it felt that way. We weren't just friends, Angela insists. We were partners. In ambition. In survival. In the game. But here's where it gets interesting. Because Angela says she didn't just know Meghan as a friend. She knew her as a planner. A strategist. Someone who treated life like a chessboard. Nothing with her was random. Every move had a goal. A purpose. A person she needed to impress, seduce, or outmaneuver. She says Meghan never talked about love. She talked about leverage. Angela remembers a night in 2011, sipping cheap wine on the balcony of a borrowed apartment. Meghan was pacing, energized, thinking out loud. She said, I need someone who can open doors. A powerful man. Not just famous, untouchable. She wasn't joking. Angela says she laughed at first. I thought it was just drunk talk. Manifestation stuff. But now, I realize she meant every word. So what happened? What changed? Why did this friendship, this supposed sisterhood forged in the fires of ambition, turn into open war? Angela says it started with small betrayals. A stolen audition. A backhanded comment. A flirty text to someone Angela was dating. But she let it go. I forgave a lot. Too much. Because I believed in her. Because I thought if she rose, maybe we both would. But one night shattered that illusion. According to Angela, it was an exclusive party in Beverly Hills. High profile. Private guest list. No cameras. Just celebrities, agents, producers, and girls who looked like they were auditioning for something more than a role. Meghan was there. So was Angela. She pulled me into a bathroom and whispered, "Tonight's important. Don't blow it." I thought she meant for a part. Turns out, she meant something else entirely. Angela says she watched Meghan work the room like a campaign trail. Every smile was targeted. Every laugh calculated. She didn't just mingle, she scanned. Picked her mark. And once she had him, it was like watching someone slip into character. That man, Angela claims, was a wealthy media exec tied to some serious money. Rumor had it he had connections to Middle Eastern royalty. Angela says Meghan didn't hesitate. She went home with him that night. Told me the next day, "Sometimes you have to trade a night for a future." I felt sick. From that point, Angela began to pull away. I started seeing the machine behind the mask, the manipulation, the rehearsed vulnerability. And I realized, if I stayed too close, I'd either become her or get destroyed by her. But Meghan wasn't done with Angela. Not yet. Angela says Meghan leaned on her for months after, asking her to run errands, cover up stories, even pose as her personal assistant to get past hotel lobbies and photo ops. I became her fixer, her cleanup crew, and the more I helped, the more she erased me. Then came the final blow. Angela had a chance. A real one. A role in an indie film with a respected director. She was set to co-star alongside a rising A-lister. She was excited, hopeful, but the call never came. When she followed up, she was told the role had gone to someone else, someone with more connections. That someone, Meghan. She never told me, never apologized. She smiled to my face and stabbed me in the back. And that's when I said, enough. Angela disappeared after that. Left LA, changed her number. Took a job in New York. She buried the memories, boxed up the photos, and tried to move on. And she might have stayed silent, if not for that interview. You know the one. Oprah. The tears. The claims. The performance. Angela was watching from her tiny apartment in Harlem, gripping the armrest, stunned. She cried about being silenced, about being targeted, about people lying about her past. Angela says she nearly screamed. She wasn't being attacked. She was being adored. And she was rewriting her past like it was a screenplay, erasing people like me who helped build her. That's when I knew. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. So she gathered everything. The photos, the texts, the receipts, the recordings. And then she spoke. Not to the tabloids, not to TMZ, but through her own voice, her own story. And when Meghan heard Angela was talking, sources say she panicked. Not just because of what Angela knows, but because Angela isn't bluffing. This isn't a Twitter rant or a clickbait article. This is a woman with a memory like a steel trap and a rage forged over 10 years of betrayal. Angela says she's not doing this for fame, not for money. I don't want to be her. I don't want to replace her. I want people to see her, the real her, the one behind the camera-ready face. Now, she's stepping out of the shadows. And Meghan? She's no longer in control of the narrative. But what happens when you finally hear Angela's first real proof? A voice message, raw, emotional, and allegedly left by Meghan during a moment of panic. A message Angela says she's kept for years. And in that message, a single sentence that could blow the whole story wide open. Because Meghan thought no one would ever hear it. But she was wrong. What did Meghan say? You're about to find out. What would you do if the person who betrayed you left behind their own confession? Not typed, not texted, but spoken. With a trembling voice, laced with fear, panic, and guilt. That's exactly what Angela says happened. She didn't go looking for revenge. Not at first. Not even after the backstabbing. Not after the stolen role. Not even after watching Meghan sit with Oprah, deliver practice tears, and paint herself as a misunderstood Cinderella in a royal horror story. Angela says she still held back. Until one night, 2 years ago, when she was clearing out old boxes from storage. One of them held her old phone. The one she hadn't used in years. The one she used to talk to Meghan on daily. Out of curiosity, or fate, Angela says she plugged it in. And there it was. A voice message she hadn't listened to in years.